Introduction *pound v *__ if *TP. In the 5 years since the first edition of this encyclopedia in 1996, herbal medicine has gone through unprecedented change. Herbs, which have always been the principal form of medicine in developing countries, have again become popular in the developed world, as people strive to stay healthy in the face of chronic stress and pollution, and to treat illness with medicines that work in concert with the body's defenses. A quiet revolution has been taking place. Tens of millions of people now take herbs such as ginkgo biloba, p. 102 to help maintain mental and physical health.
My love for nature and plants and herbalism is extensive. I really love the fact that there is this whole other world that not many people are aware of. It's like right in front of you, but unless you like really knew about it, then you would have completely passed by that plant and been like, that looks pretty. But like me, I passed by that plant and I'm like, wow, that's good for diarrhea. My great-grandmother was the shaman of a tribe in the Andes Mountains, and she always healed everybody with herbs and things, and then she passed wisdom down to my grandmother, and my grandmother passed down wisdom to my mom, and my mom's always used, folk remedies and, things from back home. But one day I started to get really sick, and she was really, really worried because, she'd only worked on surface wounds or things like that. And so she took me to the doctor, a pediatrician, and they gave me some kind of medication, and my skin started to turn orange. And I was just a baby, and she was freaking out. My skin was orange. And she was like, okay, my kid's skin is turning orange. What do I do? And the nurse that answered the phone was like, don't worry, that's normal, that's fine. She goes, this is normal? She was off her mind. So she called her mom, who was near death at the time. She told her to take eucalyptus baths with me and take celery, make it into a tea, and then put 2 drops in my mouth. But eventually, my skin stopped turning orange, and I started to absorb sunlight and get back to normal, and the original sickness was gone, and she never trusted Western doctors pretty much again. My stepmother Parker started to take an herbal class. We got in touch with the teacher who was teaching that class, Pika Tranquil, and she was amazing. I worked with her for 10 months, and I got my certification with her, and I feel like I picked up so much, and I still look back on my notes and I feel like I remember something new because there's just so much information she gave me. She was a blessing. So I have dyslexia, and that just means my brain is kind of hardwired differently than most people. Reading is really challenging because I can read the same way going forwards as I can read going backwards, so it's really, really slow because my brain literally picks up words and letters and moves them around to make them 3-dimensional and then puts them back on the page. So I scan all my books, like my herbal books, my textbooks, books for fun, and I run them through my computer and have Alex, my computer guy, read it to me. And he can read like documents, he can read pages, Word, he can read anything on Chrome, he can read PDFs and documents like that, which is what I convert my books into. So it is a very useful and necessary tool in my life. I tried to make a hydroponic system, but I realized it was a little too difficult. So I ended up making a wick system with a cotton string that I crocheted into a little platform so that the water can disperse itself into the soil pretty evenly, and I wouldn't have to worry about watering my plants because I'm very bad at watering my plants. I am just glad to share information with anyone who's willing to hear it. You know, having this kind of connection to the earth that, you know, can't really be explained is really great, but it does you no good if you can't explain it. So I really want to just impart my very little wisdom onto anyone that's willing to hear it. So that's my story.